Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our webinar today, our monthly training series. Today, we're going to be talking about connecting liberal arts programs to relevant career outcomes. I am here today with Steven Greene, who is an account manager, and he will be taking us through today's training. Just want to mention on the top of the call that the webinar is being recorded, so the recording will be sent to everyone who registered. So even if people weren't able to join us right now, but they registered for the webinar, they'll get the copy of the recording. If you're not able to stay for the whole time, feel free to drop off whenever you need, and you'll be sent the recording of the whole call. As we go, as we listen to Steven, if you have questions, please type them in the question box in the side panel. This is a webinar, so everyone is muted, screens are off. So we do welcome your questions though, so type them into the panel on the right, should be, into the question box, and we will be sure to get to your questions at the end. So I'm going to hand it over to Steven, and he will take it away.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chantel. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to join today and to talk about connecting liberal arts programs to relevant career outcomes. And while we're kind of waiting for people to join, I'll start off by unpacking what MZ Burning Glass does. So there shouldn't be any new news to anybody. But yeah, I'll also introduce myself formally. My name's Steven. I live in Idaho, northern Idaho right now, and I service the Northeast. And so I've been an account manager with MZ for a little bit, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And liberal arts programs has become a relevant topic. The longer I am an account manager at MZ, the more I hear, hey, liberal arts programs, what's the deal with that? How do we connect these programs, the programs that so many people are coming into, to career outcomes? What does that look like? So before we dive too further into that, unpacking MZ Burning Glass. So obviously we're a labor market data company. Our mission is to drive economic prosperity through connecting people who are looking for work, educators who are looking to build good programs and engage students, and employers who are looking for good people. And today, I'm really going to be talking about what that process looks like in the frame of liberal arts programs. All right, we'll highlight one specific program. We'll get into the weeds of how these three actors, people, educators, employers of the labor market, work together, and hopefully be able to present some helpful thoughts and workflows when you're trying to solve these problems. So as I mentioned, I've just talked with a lot of institutions that are, this is a main concern. Just about every institution I talk to finds difficulty translating these liberal arts programs, these liberal arts majors, minors, whatever they are, to career outcomes. That's why you're here, because you're trying to figure out, what that story is as well. And my personal story in college, I was a part of a liberal arts program, and the world was my oyster, right? That's what everyone hears. That's what we kind of have been potentially telling students in these programs, and it's not really helpful, or not the most helpful. Liberal arts programs offer so many different paths, but then what does that break down to when it comes to an exact career path? You could be anything. We all struggle with that. So after a lot of back and forth with my academic advisor, my career advisor, we really broke down my path into two different ways. And so instead of a big X or a big cross out sign that was before, I was kind of offered a psychology degree, which is the guy with the golden eyes on top. I don't know why his eyes are golden in this image, but they are. And then marketing, which is the guy with the Wi-Fi symbol on top of his head. So we've taken a look at my career path and said, okay, these are actually, like, according to what we're teaching you, this is what we think you could go into. And I'm betting you already do this with your liberal arts students as well, or with your programs as well, either at an individual level or kind of at an anecdotal level of, like, okay, this is kind of what we're seeing people go into. But really the trick is, and what I want to highlight today, is how we're going to do this at scale. So I'm going to offer a caveat first off, because that's just the nature of the beast, the nature of trying to unpack a giant program and connect these to career outcomes in 30 minutes. It's not possible. So what I'm going to offer today is it's guidance, not really gospel. It's not the whole story by any means as well. And the reports that I'm going to pull today are going to be at a high level. And so I wouldn't recommend you connecting your liberal arts programs to career pathways in 30 minutes either. I would recommend that you put some significant time and research into looking at how to do it this way, or looking at different tools on how to, what's the best method for you, right? So today we're going to look at Williams College. We'll look at their history program, since history is one of the top ones that comes to my mind. It's like, okay, I have a history degree. What do I go into? What do I do? And so we'll look at 3 perspectives. And of course, I wouldn't have a job at MZ Burning Glass if I didn't mention skills, right? That's not entirely true, but skills is really at the heart of what we're going to look at today. And it's what we see driving the labor force, really connecting these programs, peoples, and prospective careers or occupations. I wanted to stick with the P alliteration motif, however you say it. So programs, people, and prospective careers. Now, with an analyst, we'll be looking at outcomes for these grads, really using these 3 perspectives to tell a whole story. What skills are we teaching through our programs? What skills do our alumni have? And what skills are our employers looking for, right? So what skills are we teaching? We know that no programs are the same. Even though it's a general history program, there's going to be differing nuanced skills from Williams College versus like Bowdoin College or Pomona College, or these other different institutions that are offering a history program in different locations of the U.S., in different demographics of people coming to these institutions. They're just going to be different. There will be, however, general skills extracted from your program, general skills that you're teaching, general history skills. This is great. This is good. I definitely don't want to discount those, but I want to work those in tandem with those unique skills that we might be seeing. So I'm going to go into a bit of a demo today. What I have done is I've gone into Williams College, into their history program. I've looked through their kind of course catalog, or statement of goals, course numbers. I've copied and pasted, not all of this, because like I said, it's a lot of information, 89 pages of information, but I've copied all of these and I've gone into our skills extraction page. So in our resources, we have our free tools down below. Explore some free prototypes. Highlight to our job posting dashboard, skill my resume, open titles and open skills free APIs, but I'm going to go into our skills extractor. And what I've done is I've pasted that syllabus right onto this extractor, and this extractor is going to do what it says it's going to do, pull out those skills that it thinks is relevant, that it sees in this syllabus. And so what I've done from there is I've copied all of these skills and I brought it over to an Excel sheet. So from all the skills in the history program now copied onto this Excel sheet, I've cleaned it up a bit. So we're finding that the skill of writing shows up 11 times. The skill of research shows up 6 times, research papers 6 times, debating. Kind of go down the list. Again, this is at a very high level perspective, so it's not going to pull all of the skills. I recommend if you do something like this, you actually have some human touch into it and you go in and see, okay, what's actually relevant to what we're teaching. But again, as a high level, I've pulled all of those skills. Okay, we'll set that aside for now. Now we'll look at what skills do our alumni have. So hopping back into the slide deck, we're going to look at 2 different areas of the people perspective. So we're going to look at both locationally. I want to know where our alumni are, and I want to look at what skills, obviously, do they have. What skills are they saying they have on their profiles, and then what jobs are they going to go into, and then we'll do kind of a work backwards from there. And again, that caveat language, what skills are they saying they have? This is self-reported data. So we're going to go into our Analyst tool, and drop straight into profile analytics. From here, I'm just going to say, let's look nationally. Let's look at Williams College. And then we're going to look at their history degree. And again, these are profiles scraped from the web from that people are putting their resume on a job posting site or adding an online profile, an online presence onto a job posting site. So we're going to say history. And this will only pull out the 4-digit level of program code, zip codes. And here we go. Right away, we see 1,152 profiles, where they're located. We can go down to top cities. We'll put a pin on location for a second. Top states, put a pin in companies, highlight occupations, highlight job titles, put that into our back pocket, but then go down to skills. So we've grabbed skills that Williams College is saying that they're teaching in their history program. Now we're grabbing skills that at a high level, the alumni of Williams College in the history program are saying that they have attached to their profile, that these people are thinking, I'm going to get a job with these skills on my resume. And I have also gone to Williams College in a history program. So I'm going to export this into an Excel sheet and pull it over to my master Excel sheet and pop it in right there. So right now we're looking at a total of the program skills, or Williams College skills. We're looking at the alumni skills, top specialized skills, top common skills, because those are both important. And we're going to do some a little bit of mapping. You can see I've done that right here, program to profile mapping. And what do we find? So what skills do our alumni have? Now we're connecting the dots again of what skills we're teaching versus what skills our alumni say they have, and finding some anomalies. Now we're understanding, okay, my grads are coming out with these skills, with these kinds of specific jobs, or with these kinds of jobs specific to Williams College. And we're seeing these kinds of job titles and occupations they have. Again, what skills they're saying they have, what jobs are they going into, and now we're going to start to work backwards. And essentially, we've answered what jobs they go into versus what we're teaching. But of course, we're not going to stop there because we have a whole few minutes. So how do we know what skills we need to give to our alumni in the first place is kind of the main question. What skills are employers looking for? Are the skills that my alumni have matching the skills in their regions that their employers are looking for? That's kind of saving that that map that we saved in the profile outcomes. What are some tangential skills that connect to this occupation versus something similar, recurring skills? And so the goal is to make sure that the skills we're teaching are being translated into the skills that our people are presenting on their profiles. In order to know that, we need to verify what skills company are asking for. It shouldn't be new to Analyst users. Relating this to liberal arts programs, we'll tie back in the first slide. Basically, what skills are you teaching? And so what we're going to do is we're going to hop back into Analyst, basically looking at where our alumni residing. I'm going to make some groups. We're going to make sure that we are filling the skill gap or the skill demand. And so this research for me is going to be more than one report. What I'm going to want to look at is the locations of where these people live. I'm going to want to fully get a full story and ask what skills are the employers of these regions looking for within the top occupations connected to profiles, within the top occupations mapped to your program. So we do a program to occupation mapping, and within the top job titles connected to your profiles. And from there, we're going to look at some similarities and differences to get a full picture. So I'm going to hop back into Analyst. You can see I've already done some of that on the slide previous, but we're going to go into job postings. Do a job postings analytics report. And we'll start with top occupations connected to profiles. And so I've already saved a group called Williams College So I have both the program to occupation mapping, the SIP to SOC mapping, and then I have the history ox connected to the profiles. We're going to start with the profiles. And I'm going to grab that region that our profiles live in. So I think I grabbed the top 25 states. Again, as a high level kind of workflow that we're working through today. I'm going to run that report. Now we're seeing, from the occupations that our alumni are saying they have, chief executives, general operations managers, marketing managers, public relations, funding managers. We're going to find out what skills companies are looking for around those occupations within our 10 states. So top 10 states. Salary information, wage information. You've been in job postings before. You've probably seen this before. And if you haven't, this is a great time to talk to your account manager or to your person that you know at MZ Burning Glass that would be happy to talk you through job postings. So we're looking at who's hiring, fantastic. We have those occupations, maybe some tangential job titles that they might also have, super helpful. Some industries that they're going to fall into, but then those skills, in-demand skills. So fantastic. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this into our Excel sheet, but not yet. I'm not done with my search. I'm going to look at top occupations from the SIP to SOC mapping. And this is where it really gets interesting, because these occupations will be pretty different than what our profiles are saying they have, right? So now we have historians, political scientists, anthropologists, archivists, curators, museum technicians, and conservators. And now we have a different story of what skills look like. Policy analysts, public policies, policy development, strategic planning, economics. There's a bit of oversupply for curation, archaeology, finance. And so a different story of a different set of skills, but still relating back to the history program that Williams College is teaching, relating back to what the BLS says that the occupations should be for this program. So great, we'll copy this, save this, add this to our skills Google Docs or our skills document, Excel sheet, whatever, and then we'll look at job titles. And these aren't by any means the 3 things that you have to look at. Like I said, I highly recommend you you really dig your hands into this and figure out, okay, what's actually relevant to me. And they'll look a lot different, but for the sake of demonstration. So the job titles our alumni have from Williams College in the history program within these 10 states, we're seeing finance, marketing, accounting, business development, auditing. I think that was in the last one. I think marketing was in one of those as well, data analysis. So we'll copy this and then we'll bring it into our program to market skills gap for skills analysis. And now I'm connecting program skills, alumni skills, and job posting skills. Excuse me. I'm highlighting what I'm seeing is showing up as a common, maybe common denominator among these 3. Okay, research papers, research and common skills, research in, there's another research in there somewhere, but planning, strategic planning, public speaking, presentations, lawsuits was one of those skills that we saw in the previous slide. That was one of those skills that was unique maybe to Williams College. And so now what we're doing is we're telling a full story of, okay, programs to alumni, great. Now what's the labor market asking for? Are we teaching skills that relate to the labor market? And so looking for those similarities, looking for those differences, and really starting to build to develop a whole story of how these connect. With an analyst, we're looking at outcomes for grads, really using these 3 different perspectives to tell us a whole story, to tell us what programs are, or what skills we're teaching in programs, what skills we're teaching in profiles, and what skills we're teaching in prospective careers. Using those 3 Ps, skills are at the center of it. Now we've powered through a 20-minute session, a real quick session connecting history program from Williams College to career outcomes based around what skills Williams said it was teaching, what skills its alumni said they had, and what skills employers were looking for. There's definitely topics we missed, a few things we flew over, and there are definitely easier ways of going about this. From some of the tools listed in the right definitely help out with that. But right now, I want to open up to some Q&A. Yeah, please do reach out to myself or your representative at MZ Brandon Glass if you want further explanation, if you want to further dive into what I've done or some of the tools that do this as well. But yeah, we'll hop it over to Q&A and we'll see if Chantel has any questions, if y'all have any questions for me.
Thanks, Stephen. Just a reminder, if you do have questions, to type them into the control panel of the section that says questions, and we will get those answered. Stephen, can you talk a little bit about what this process might look like if you add in maybe they're like a history program that has maybe a technical course element, maybe there's a requirement for some sort of science or data courses. Is it roughly the same process? Can you just talk about how that might change?
Yeah, so what I've done in scraping their catalog is I've done a very high level, like this is their entire catalog. A student is probably not going to take every single course, every single class in that catalog. And so if you wanted to focus it for maybe a history program with an emphasis in, for Williams College, it looked like law. So if you wanted to focus that, you would more highlight, maybe adjust your program to occupation mapping to include a law skill, or highlight those specific law skills in that Excel sheet, or highlight those specific law skills or data skills when you're doing that mapping, and search for it in job postings as well. So maybe adjust your skills in job postings to highlight data analysis or law, or whatever that specialty is.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Question here from someone asking about the skills that we're looking at for the history program, skills in profiles. So one of the skills was lawsuits, and thinking about that skill possibly coming from students that went on to law school, that obviously an undergraduate maybe wouldn't have that same skill. Is there a way to narrow in further, maybe filter out those postings?
Yeah, you can absolutely filter out those postings. And so we grabbed a size of 1,140 something profiles, where I think it was 18% had that skill. So when I hop into Williams College, I'm gonna make sure I add the history program. 1,152, great. So yeah, what I can do is I can go in and say, actually, I don't want to look at lawyers, but 90 of the profiles have become lawyers. And so there's something maybe specific to either the demographics of the people who went to Williams College, or the skills that you're teaching that are potentially producing lawyers, partners, principals, CEOs, attorneys. Again, these are job titles, so these are self-reported. This is what I say I'm doing, right? But you can go in and maybe exclude this skill from the results, or exclude this occupation from the results to have an understanding. Okay, well, not everyone's going to be a lawyer, but you know, this is what you could also go into. Marketing managers, financial managers.
Great.
And when you do that, highlighted, so when you get into the weeds of your specific courses, and if you find, you know, if you go into the depth of doing like course pathways, so if you have like a couple of course pathways, and then when you extract skills, or when you do a skills, when you pull skills from that pathway or those specific courses, you'll definitely have a better understanding of the skills that you are producing and the skills that people have. So hope that answered the question.
Yeah, thanks. Can you talk more about exclusions? There's a few other ways, like if you wanted to, there's some noise in the data for different reasons, maybe different words that come up that you want to exclude. Can you just talk about other areas that we can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in profiles, exclusions can come from companies, occupations. You can exclude job titles. Like you were saying, no, if you didn't want to include any of the, so either transfer students or graduate students, you could exclude other schools and say, okay, I just want to look at maybe people who are getting associates or bachelors from Williams College, within the history degree, and take away all those other schools. You can do that. So maybe excluding Harvard or Columbia might get rid of all the law students. You can exclude or include different qualifications, exclude common skills. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I haven't really pursued, is saying, you know, if we exclude these skills and just stick with Williams College, what is that gonna give us? So good thoughts.
You can do similar things in the job postings data too, when you're looking for the skills on that side.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. Someone asking where they can find the reports.
Yeah. For profile analytics for job postings. Yep, great question. So profile analytics is going to be a report that is also in addition to Analyst. A majority of people will probably have profile analytics, but if that's something that you don't have, definitely something to talk to your MZ Burning Glass representative, account manager, executive, or whoever. Definitely something to talk with them about. There are ways to just directly connect your, I mean, you can leave the profiles out of it and just look at what skills your program's teaching versus what skills are needed in the labor force, and see if there's a map there. Job postings is still going to tell you, so it is going to tell you that skills gap analysis between profiles and job postings, but that's really the only profile section that's going to populate in job postings. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So the skills kind of gap would still populate, where we're seeing within our 10 occupations in marketing, 20% of the postings looking for people with a marketing skill, versus 14% of the total profiles that have within these 10 occupations that would have marketing. A little bit of an oversupply with strategic planning.
Thanks. Couple questions about Canadian data, which so mostly how much of this works in Canada, and specifically is profile data available in Canada, which I believe is the part of it that is not available.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I don't believe Data in Canada will have profiles updated in this section in job postings. So that is the unfortunate part. Or
Yeah.
you would just have to look at skills needed in job postings.
So for everything that Stephen covered today, you can do all of those things in the Canadian data except for the profiles data right now. We are working on we have profiles data for Canada. We're working on getting that into the tool available for people. Hoping to do that by the end of the year. So can look out for updates on that. But everything else that Stephen went over can be done in Canada. Any other questions? If you have more questions, or if you are, going about your day and you think of something you wish you had asked, feel free to reach out. There, you should have your account manager contact information. You're welcome to contact either Stephen or I if you don't know who the person is that you should talk to, and we are happy to point you in the right direction. You should be able to reply to any of the emails that you've been sent, like marketing emails and whatnot, and we should be able to get back to you that way. Stephen's email is on the screen now. So it's not looking like there are any other questions. But thank you all so much for joining us today. Our next webinar for July is next month. We will be announcing the topic of the webinar in our monthly newsletter that goes out on the last day of every month. So the topic will be announced then, along with the link to register. So look out for that. And if you don't currently receive the newsletter and you'd like to, just visit our website. There's a link to sign up for it. And you should be receiving the recording of this webinar, hopefully by the end of the week. All right, thanks so much for joining, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.